explained about the CSS border radius property. Like here, we have generally four sides. Like that is the border top left radius, border top right radius, border bottom right radius, border bottom left radius. It means these all these all coordinates gives the rounded shape to the coordinates of the border of an element. Okay. Wait, I will explain it. I have already explained that, like what is this border top left radius means. It generally used to set the border radius to the top left corner. Border top left his top right radius. Like it is generally used to set the border radius for the top right corner. Bottom right radius, it is used to set the border radius for the bottom right corner, and followed by we have border bottom left radius, it is used to set the border radius for the bottom left corner. These are all the coordinates. Like if you want to put any border radius to that particular corner, like bottom left, bottom right, top bottom or top right, then you can use. Okay, depends upon your urgency. I have already explained like what is this property. Property values. We have generally two property values, that is length and percentage. What is this length means? It defines the shape of these coordinates. Okay, it denotes the size of this radius using these length values, and here the default value is 0. Okay, and there is another thing that you should remind, that is it should not allow negative values. This is all about the length property value, and followed by we have another property, that is percentage. What is this percentage? It denotes the size of the radius in percentage. This is also doesn't allow the negative value. These are all the two common properties in this border radius. First one is length and second one is percentage. You can use any one. Yes. Here I wrote something like let me give paragraph. Here let me give border radius. That is 25%, and followed by here I'm giving percentage. You can even give length also. That is your okay. And now let me add my div tag. Here I we should you should close your div tag. Sorry guys. Let me give here id equals to uh, what should I give? Yeah. Okay. Now yeah, here I have already opened the style tag. And now you should add some properties to this div id tag. Let me add, you should mention a here. A, right? Yes. Here let me give border radius. Yeah, perfectly. Border here I'm giving border radius, that is 25% as usual. And percentage. Is my screen visible to all? I think so. Clarity is missing. Am I clear?
No, ma'am, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, that's fine. One second. Let me run this. Oh, there is no border at all. One second. Am I clear now? Okay. Okay then. Yeah. Let me add border radius. One second. Let me check. 25%, 10%. Why didn't get anything? One second. Give ID equals to, here I gave ID, that is 25%. Let me give 15% this time. Oh, my screen is not visible. One second. Santoshi ma'am?
Ma'am, Santoshi ma'am is not here.
Yeah, yeah. Sir, there is a network issue. Okay, yes, time is wasting. Let me delete all this stuff. Okay. Today I'm gonna teach you guys about some what is the CSS display, and CSS CSS font properties, that is font size, font family, font weight, and followed by I just want to cover all the topics that is CSS colors, and followed by I just want to explain you guys about CSS hover effect, and followed by I will explain what is the CSS important property, CSS background color, background attachment. I have already explained this background color and background attachment. So here I want to explain new concept, that is background size, and followed by I will explain you guys about CSS height and width. This is all for today's lecture. I will explain all these things. Okay. First of all, let me explain what is the CSS display. What is the CSS display means? This CSS display is the most important property of the CSS, which is used to control the layout of this element. Okay, it specifies how the element is displayed, and every element has a default display value according to its nature, and every element on the web page is a rectangular box, and the CSS property generally defines the behavior of that particular rectangular box. Okay. And here generally the CSS displays default properties, that is default value means inline. Okay, I will explain. Generally we have some CSS display values which are commonly used, that is display inline, inline block, display block, display none means it doesn't display anything, display run in. First of all, let me explain what is the CSS display inline. The inline element takes the required width only. Okay, it doesn't force the line break, so that so the flow of the text doesn't break the inline examples. These inline elements are span, a, break, etc. Let me create on sample HTML file. HTML head HTML. Yeah, I have successfully. Okay, I've successfully opened, and I have successfully created some HTML sample tag. Uh, Here you should open your style tag. Okay. Let me here first one. What is the CSS first property, that is display inline? Let me open some paragraph tag. Let me give hello all, and followed by you should close your paragraph tag. Here I just want to mention my CSS property, that is what is this, display inline, right? Wait some time. Let me zoom my screen. Yeah. This is what an inline block means elements are here the paragraph is printed in inline. You can see the difference between display inline and block, if at all, if after I printing this block. And the second, this is what the display inline means, and followed by we have another property, that is display inline block. This css display in block element is generally similar to this inline element, but here the difference is that you are able to see the width and height, okay. And followed by we have another property, that is css display block. The css display block element takes as much as the horizontal space as they can, means the block elements takes the full available width, okay. They make a line break. Let me give here, let me add a new paragraph so that you can understand what is this display inline means. Let me give here one is the uh, see, everything is printed in a inline, okay. See, I have gave many text, that is hello world, one is something, some other text, but when you see the output, everything is printed in a one line. This is generally what display inline means, okay. uh, let me give see let me delete this inline, and here let me give css block, okay. See, you can clearly see the difference between display inline and the display block. Means, what is this display block means? This display block element takes as much as the horizontal space. See, you can see that there is a much horizontal space between one paragraph and the another paragraph. Means this block element takes the full available width. Okay, they make a line break. See, you can clearly see that they make a line break from the one paragraph to one another paragraph before and after them. This is generally what the css block means. There are some conditions, like there are some websites, like some content is printed in a one line inline, and some content is printed in a block, okay. You can use either block or inline, depends on your agency or depends on your need, okay. And fourthly, we have css display run in. This property I mean uh, there is a one second, let me display running. See, it doesn't print anything. Generally, this property doesn't work in Firefox. Okay, the means these elements don't produce a specific box by themselves. And finally, we have what is this CSS display none. The none value totally removes the element from the page. Let me give um, display. What is this none? See, it doesn't print anything. This is the beauty of this none, means if at all, if you are you wrote many content, you don't want to display that content, then you can use this property. Simply you can give display that is none, so that the content is not visible to everyone. These are all the css display properties, like we have css display none, css display running, css block, and css inline block, and css inline. These are all the five properties which are involved in the css, okay. And there are other css display values also. You should practice all these css display other css display values, that is flex, means it is used to display an element as in a block level flex container. And these are all new to the css, okay. And we have inline flex. It is used to display any element as any in level flex container. And we have table means it makes the element behave like a table element. We have another css display values, that is css caption, css column group, table I mean sorry table header group, table footer group, and table cell. What is this table cell means? It makes the element behave like a table, td. Okay, td element means. And we have table row means it makes an element behave like a table row element. Table column, it makes the element behave like a column element. These are all the css other I mean these are all the other css display values. Mainly we have only five display values, that is I mean display inline block, display block, display running, display none. This is all about the display css display properties. Now I'm gonna explain you guys about the css cursor. What is the css cursor means? It is used to define the type of mouse cursors when the mouse pointer is on the element. Okay, it allows us to specify the cursor type, which will be displayed to the user when a user hovers on the link. Then by default the cursor transform into the hand from a pointer. Okay, we have some values, that is alias, auto, all scroll, column resize, cell, copy, crosshair. This is your homework. You please do practice on the css cursor. I'm not going to explain about the css cursor property. We have many css properties, that is zoom in, zoom out. Like what is this zoom in means? It is used to indicate that the something can be zoomed in. Zoom out means it is used to indicate that something can be zoomed out. Okay. There are a lot of topics to cover, so you please do practice on the css cursor. You don't need to do anything, you just you have to give something like style equals to cursor, that is s size, cursor w resize, cursor text. That's it. Only one element you have to add, only one what is this one type I mean one line of code. Okay, we don't need to do anything like here in this cursor we don't have any much lines of code. Only one line code. Okay, you have to give cursor, that is depends. Like I have explained that there we have many cursor types like sc size, sw. Like sc resize means it represents the southeast direction, which indicates that any edge box is to be removed down and right. And we have s size, no, drop, none, many. Okay, there are many like here we have something like 20, 15 to 20. So you please do practice all of them. Explain you guys about css buttons. Okay. Okay. What is the css buttons means? In html we use this button tag to create a button. Okay, in many websites you can see that after filling a form there we have a submit button. When you click the submit button, all the information is submitted to that particular authority. Okay, those particular buttons, those particular submit buttons all are created by using the css buttons, I mean this button element only. Okay, uh, but in css we can style those buttons. Okay, see many websites you can see that buttons are in different types. Okay, some buttons are in some color, some buttons are in some width, some height. Okay, all those properties can be done by using the css button properties only. Okay, and these buttons generally help us to create user interaction and event processing. They're one of these widely used elements of the web pages. Means you can see, I have already explained that in many web pages if you fill any registration form, like if you fill any form text, finally we have that submit button. Means during this form submission to view or to get some information, we generally use these buttons. there are some basic there are some stylings in buttons. That is the first one is the background color. Okay, we have I have already explained what is this background color means. These generally this property, this background color can be applied to this button also. Let me create one button, and after that let me add uh, here button. Yeah, let me give class that is b1, and now let me add submit, and after that you should close your button tag. Okay, yeah, here I have successfully created the button tag. Now let me add some properties to that button tag. First let me add this background color here, b1 background color, that is, let me give red. Okay, yeah, see here you can clearly see that there is a button with the there is a button that is submit button with the background color red. This is how you can apply the background color to that particular button. Okay, and followed by we have another property that we which we can you I mean which we can apply to this button, that is border. Okay, we can even add the border. This border generally it is used to set the border of this button. Okay, like we have some border with border color, border style. Let me give here border. Let me give 10 pixels. 10 pixel. Which type of border? Red. Blue border. Blue. Type solid. Oh, border is very. Let me give only 1 pixel. See, there is a border like that. The border is generally 1 pixel with the black. I mean, sorry, what blue color. Okay, this is how you can apply the border to that particular button. And followed by we have another property, that is border radius property. These properties generally used to make the rounded corners of this border. I have already explained this. What is this border radius? Let me add here border radius. See, you can clearly see that all pixels are in a curve call with the 10 pixel. This is how you can apply the border radius to that button. In many websites you can see that you can see generally buttons are in this type. And you have even you have an explain what is this box shadow also. As it shadow, as it name replace, it is used to create the shadow of the button box. Okay, it is used to add the shadow to the button. And we can also create a shadow during the hover on the button. Let me give box. Okay, box shadow. Once again, do this down. Do anyone know what is this sound? Actually, these sounds are from my laptop. Do anyone know why it is sounding like this? Guess, please respond. I think so. You are here. I mean, here the sound is audible to you. Why it is sounding like this? My God, what the hell is happening? Guess, do anyone know? Please
Yes,
respond.
you are audible, ma'am.
So there is a sound came from my laptop, coming from my laptop, but I don't know why it is happening. Continuously, it is sounding.
No, ma'am. Your audio is perfect.
Let me shut down my laptop and let it. I will open it again. Okay, whatever I will explain. Here I gonna explain you guys about this box shadow property. Here we have generally what is this horizontal offset and vertical offset, and followed by we have blur radius and optional spread radius, and finally you have to declare what is the color. Okay, you should mention all these properties, then only the shadow will be printed. Okay, let me add 1 second. First one, Shiro black. Okay, after that let me add Shiro. See, you can clearly see that there is a shadow. Okay, yeah, here we have what is this combination of some black and red, I mean green and black. It is sounding continuously. I don't want to do this. One second, I will open. Are you hearing? Yeah. Can anyone know why it is sounding like that? Finally, it stopped. It started again. Whatever. Yeah, guys, this is how we can create the box shadow to that particular button. Like if you create any box, then you should mention your horizontal offset, vertical offset, and blur radius, and finally you need to mention this radius also, and finally you should mention your color. Okay, based upon these four properties only, the shadow will be printed. And finally we have this property, that is padding. It is used to set the button padding. Okay, you don't need to do anything. You can give padding that is depends on your pixels. Like if at all if you want to give any padding that is 10 pixel, 20 pixel, 30 pixel, then you can give depends on your button size and everything. This is all about the bottom button property. In button for the particular button tag, we can add some css properties, that is background color, and we can add this border, border also. Like here you can mention what is this. Even here in border you can mention border with border color, even border style also. And I have gave that some 10 1 pixel, and border color that is blue, and border style that is solid. And you can even mention that border radius also. uh, and finally we have what is this box shadow. And finally we have what is padding. These are all the properties which are involved in the css buttons. And here I want to explain you guys about font. I will explain all this concept theoretically. You should do practice. There is no time at all. Things are not supporting to us. Okay. What is the CSS font property means? The CSS font property is generally used to control the look of text. Okay. By the use of the CSS font property, you can change the text size, text color, style, and many more. And I have already explained that is what is this bold means. In HTML part, I have used this bold tag many times, bold property many times. And here we have some important font attributes. That is, first one is CSS font color, and second one is CSS font family, and third one is CSS font size, and font style, font variant, and font size, font weight. First one, what is the CSS font color means? This property is generally used to change the color of the text. Okay. And what is this font family means? This one second. This CSS font family, this property is generally used to change the face of the font. Okay. And font size, like if at all if you want to increase or even decrease the size of your content, like size of your font, then you can use this CSS font size property. And we have CSS font style, like this is like if you want to print your content in a bold format, then like if you want to print your content in italic, or there are many like oblique, everything. If you want to do all those things, then you can use the CSS font style tag. You don't need to do anything, just font style. You should mention that font style, and some dots with bold or italic or oblique. It's your wish. And we have CSS font variant. This property is used to create a small caps effect. Like in many websites, you can see that there is a difference between the small caps effect and the normal content. Okay, I mean that type of, like there's some content is in a small caps, like the content in font size is very less, and each and every letter is in a capsule letter. Actually, that content is printed by using the CSS font variant property only. And finally, we have the CSS font weight. Okay, this property is used to increase or decrease the boldness or lightness. Okay, lightness of this font. Okay, means if at all if you want to highlight your content, then you can use the CSS font weight. See, in many websites there is some content which is important, then they are highlighting. Okay, actually that those things can happen by using the CSS font weight property only. Like this CSS font weight property can be used in headings. Okay, and coming to, let me give some brief intro about the CSS font color. uh, Generally there are three different formats to define the color. The first one is by name, by color name. I think so I have explained about this by name and the hexadecimal value and the RGB. Okay, so I don't want to go anything depth. You please do practice. The name means, you know everything, like names generally blue, green, yellow, violet, maroon, pink, white, everything. Okay, the means we just mention the color by name only. And followed by we have another thing that is an hexadecimal value. Like if you do go and this hexadecimal value should be mentioned by using the hash only. Okay, you please do some Google search once, then you can get all the CSS I mean color, I mean hexadecimal values. Okay, and finally we have this RGB, means here we have four, I mean three colors, like the combination of red, green, blue. Okay, these values are generally from 0 to 255, I think so. Okay, and followed by we have another property, that is CSS font family. This CSS font family can be divided into two types. The first one is the generic family. Like it includes the you see our default content, that is serif, sans serif, and monospace. And we have another font family, that is I mean we have another type, that is font family, like it specifies the font family name, like Arial, New Times Roman, everything. Okay, if at all if you want to change your font family, then you can use this, like if at all if you want to change the format of your fonts, then you can use this font family property. And for font, we have CSS font size. Like I have already explained that if at all if you want to decrease or increase the size of your content, then you can use the CSS font size property. See, in many websites you can see that some content is in some I mean some size, and some content in the some size. Like if you see, headings are in actually bigger size, and content is in lower size, and okay, and sub contents are in very lower case. Okay, all these things can happen by using the CSS font size only. Like we have many values, like x small means it is extremely small text size. Okay, and we have x small, like it is display the extra small text size. Okay, and small, like compared to x small and x small, this one is better. Okay, it is also a small text, I mean small text size, like it is generally used to display the small text size. And we have this property that is medium. It is used to display the medium text size, okay. And if at all, if you want to display your content in a large size, then we have that property also, like x large. You can display your content in extra large, that is xx large. These are all the font size properties. And we have finally CSS font style. This CSS font style property defines what type of font you want to display. Like it may be, I have already explained that it may be italic, it may be oblique, or it may be normal, or it may be some, what is this, bold. It depends, okay. And finally we have this css font variant. This css font variant property specifies how to set a font variant of an element. Like I said that in many websites you can clearly see that some content is in a small text size with the all capital letters. And here we have two properties, that is you can display your content in a normal way, or you can display your content in a small caps way also. And finally, we have the CSS font weight. The CSS font weight property defines the weight of the font, okay, and specifies that how bold a font is. I mean, the possible values of this font weight may be normal, bold, lighter, okay. Yeah, or even you can mention with I mean, numbers also, like 100, 200, 300. It's your wish. These are all the font properties. Have clearly, I think so, I have clearly explained all the cs, I mean, what is the css font, and what are all the important font attributes, that is css font color, css font size, font family, font style, and font variant, and font weight. I will, I mean, I have explained all the theory part only. One second, I'm trying to connect it to my, let me complete all the theory part. I will do for after completing all the theory parts. Okay. See, I hope everything is clear. Like, what is this font size, font family, font weight, and font variant, and font family, everything. And now I'm going to explain you guys about CSS colors. Okay. The CSS color property. I mean, the color property in the CSS is generally used to set the color of these HTML elements. Okay. Till now we have used many colors, but I haven't gave any intro about the CSS colors. Like, what is the colors? What is this formats? Here in the CSS color values, we have many formats. Okay. I will explain all of them. This property is generally used to set the background color, or even font color, everything. Like, or even you can use to set this border colors also, like how I mean, when I created button, I mean, button tag, I mentioned some border color, like everything, but I didn't mention any types, like, okay, I mean, any formats. For colors we have many formats, like we have RGB format, RGBA format, hexadecimal notation, and I have explained only name, hexadecimal, and RGB, but we have some other type formats, like also like RGBA, HSL, HSLA, built-in color. Let me give theoretical explanation about this RGB format means. What is this RGB means? This RGB means red, green, blue. Okay. Generally, it is used to defining the color of an HTML elements by specifying the values of red, green, blue, that are range, I mean, the range from 0 to 225. Okay. And the another thing is the color values in this format are specified by using this RGB format property only. Okay. This property allows three values, okay, that can either be in a percentage or even an integer. It's your wish. Okay. And but you should mention the three values. Okay. And there is another thing, that is there are some formats that support that doesn't support all browser, but here this RGB, here this RGB also, it doesn't supported all these browser. Okay. So that's why W3C doesn't recommend these things. And followed by we have another format, that is RGBA format. It is almost similar to this RGB format, except that RGBA contains here A means alpha. Okay, that specifies the element that is transparency, like this value of this alpha is in the range from 0 0.0 to 1.0, in which here 0 0.0 is for fully transparent, and here 1.0 means it's not transparent. Okay. You should mention that is color, that is RGB, means you can mention anything, like it's your wish. And finally we have what is this hexadecimal notation. I've already explained that you should mention, if you at all, if you want to write, if you want to mention any color by using this hexadecimal values, then you should mention it with hash only. Okay. uh, and here there is a new thing, that is the short hex codes. Okay, it is the short form of hexadecimal notation, in which every digit is recreated to arrive at an equivalent hexadecimal values. Here we only have three values only, but coming to the hexadecimal, we have five, and some colors are in six. But coming to this short, we have only three. Okay, three values, like if at all, if you want to mention this black color notation in the short text, that is hash 000 means black color, hash FFF means white color. Okay, there are other colors, some other codes also, I don't know. I only know, I just only know these two, like black and white. I forgot all those. Okay, and here we have another format, that is HSL, means hue, saturation, and lightness. Okay, what is this hue means? It can be defined as the decrease on this colors wheel from 0 to 360. Okay, here 0 represents red, and 120 means green, 240 means every degree represents one color. Okay, and saturation means it takes the values in percentage, in which 100% represents fully saturated, and 50% 50 represents 50% of gray, everything. Okay, and we have another, that is lightness. This lightness of this color can be defined as the light that we want to provide the color, in which here 0% represents black, means there is no light, we don't need to any light. And here 50% represents neither dark nor light. See, in some websites you can see that some some content in some, like some lightness. Okay, there is a lightness for that, for some content. Actually those things can be done by using this HSL only. Okay, HSL colors only. Here if you want, if you mention your color by this HSL, there is some lightness. Okay, uh, actually these things can happen by using this lightness property. And followed by we have another another property, that is HSLA. It is also like a HSL property, except that it contains in alpha, like RGB, RGBA. Okay, that specifies that elements transparency. I have already explained that the value of the alpha is in the range from 0 0.0 to 1.0, in which here 0 0.0 indicates here fully transparent, 1.0 indicates not transparent. Okay. Finally we have this built-in color, as it names here as the name implies, built-in color means the collection of previously defined colors that are used by using, such as red, blue, green, yellow, white, black, purple, anything. These are all the colors. Okay, you can mention, you can use any one of them: RGB, RGBA, HSLA, HSA, built-in colors, that's your wish. Okay. But if at all, if you want to use any RGB or hexadecimal values, then you should do some Google search only. Because we can't remember all those values. We can remember only a few. I mean, if you do a lot of practice on the CSS, then you can remember some. Then you can remember. If at all, if you do many much practice on practice the in that case only in that case also you can remember some codes, some hexadecimal or some RGB values only. Okay, if at all you please do some Google search once, then only you can understand what is this hexadecimal values, what is this RGBA, what is this lightness, transparent, and everything. This is all about the CSS colors. This is the important thing because for any web page, for any HTML web pages, colors are very important. Okay, you are not supposed to use any odd colors. Means odd colors doesn't make your website effective, beautiful, everything. Okay. So you should do more practice on the CSS colors, and you have to choose what which color suits best, and which color suits perfect, everything. Okay, this is what the CSS colors means. And here again, here I just want to explain you guys about the CSS hover means hover property. See, actually this is see in some websites, I think so. Yeah. If you see, if you I mean some text, actually generally some text is in black color. If you click on that text, that color generally, I mean suddenly changes to another color, like that color suddenly changes to some blue color, green color, red color. Those things can happen by using the CSS hover effect only. Actually I want to show, but right now it is impossible. There are some sounds coming from my laptop. You don't worry, I will explain it tomorrow. Right now I will explain all the theory part. Tomorrow I will do all the coding part, and after that I will start some other topics only. Okay. Some. And what is the CSS hover means? This hover selected is for selecting the elements. Okay. When we move the mouse on them, I mean, it changes to another color. Okay. It only not limited to the lengths. We can use it in almost every HTML elements. Okay. To style the link to unvisited pages, we can use this link selector. Okay. And to style the link for the visited pages, we can use this visited selector. And to style the active links, then we can use this active selector. It's your wish. There are some selectors that is hover, link, visited, active. That's your wish. Based upon your need, you can use any selector. um the hover generally can be used to highlight the web pages. Okay. I mean, as per the preference of this user season effective, like we people, we users every time will prefer an effective web design, I mean effective web pages only. Okay, web pages, right. So here if it no so here so in such cases you can use some other HTML CSS properties like the CSS hover effect, everything. These things generally can make our web page effective. Okay. This hover, what is this? There are some features that are included in this hover effect are, what is it? It changes the color of the background and the font. Okay. And it will modify the opacity of an image. You can even, I have already explained that you can apply this CSS hover effect to any HTML element. And we have another property, I mean we have another feature, that is this swapping of, you can use this property to swap the images. Like see, in some web pages, there is a image, like if you click on that image, then it suddenly changes to another image. Actually that those things can happen by using the CSS hover only. Okay, this is the beauty of the CSS. You can make web pages more effective, more beautiful by using the CSS properties only. Okay, and there is another feature that is it creates image rollover effects. Okay, you don't worry. I will code. I will show it by coding. And here basically this hover effect modifies the elements property value to enable the animate changes on a stated image or text are the corresponding elements. Okay, embedding of HTML elements in the web pages makes them functional and interactive. This is generally what this CSS hover effect means. And here we have another property that is CSS important property. What is the CSS important property means? This property in the CSS is generally used to give more importance compared to the normal property. See, in many websites you can clearly see that there is some important text. You can by seeing the content you can declare that this particular content is very important. Like if you see any content type of websites, there is some content like that is darken or some anything, anything else. By seeing that content you can see that this particular lines of this particular lines of this paragraph is important. Okay, actually those things can happen by using the CSS important property. Like if you create any websites, like if you create any content based websites, and if you want to make some content too important, then you can use this important property. Means this property is used to give more importance, okay, compared to this normal property. And if we apply this property to the text, then the priority of this text is higher than the other priorities. Okay, and it is you should use this property in your program until it is highly required. Okay, if the content is not highly important, highly required, then you are not supposed to use this importance property. Okay, if you think or if you think that that particular content is very important or very required, then only you are supposed to use this importance property. And if this rule is driven with this attribute, and it will reject the normal concerns in which the latter used rule overrides these previous ones. Okay, if we use more than one declaration marked important, then the normal cascade takes it over again. Okay, uh, nothing in which how we can mention this important means it is like negative, like not equals to important, that's it. You don't need to do anything. Like if you want to like you wrote some paragraphs, then you want to make that paragraph is very important, then in that paragraph you can mention that it is important, that's it. This is what generally important property means. The CSS background size property. This background size CSS property is used to set the background size of a background background size of your background image of an element, and this background image can be stretched to fit into the existing space. Like see you wrote you created one web page and you wrote many much more text, like you wrote some table, some list and everything. Now here right now you here you just want to mention here you just want to put some image. Oh, it's rain. Okay guys, tomorrow I will explain the CSS, all the coding part and the CSS background size. This is all for today's lecture. Sanjay sir,
Yes, ma'am.
sir, if at all, if you want to say anything, you please. Right now, I'm exiting from this meeting.
Okay,
Please,
ma'am. Shall we
you
wind
hear?
up the session?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, guys.